Hello everyone, Shani here, and I am back with yet another video of one of my favorite songs that I made recently. I don't know why it's my favorite. It may not necessarily even be considered that good of a song, but it is Closer, which I really enjoyed making. So yeah. This video should also be on my brand spanking new FLP walkthrough channel. I won't be uploading it to my main channel, only because I was going through my own playlist the other day and I was listening to my own music, which sounds really obnoxious, but I was listening to my own music and then all of a sudden I heard my own voice and I was like, ugh, no one wants to hear their own voice. It was gross. So yeah, I thought I would put these on a separate channel so that they don't disrupt the natural flow of just pure music. And I'm also going to have on this channel some random songs that I hated too much to actually release on my main channel, but didn't hate enough to not release at all. So I still want to upload them, but not to my main channel because I don't think that they would fit. And they will be completely random songs. There will be so many different genres because I make so many different genres. So yeah, you can get a good look at some of the songs that I have made over the past few months that I, for whatever reason, didn't feel was good enough to upload to my main channel. I'll probably put the reasons why I didn't feel it was good enough in the descriptions as well. But yeah, anyway, I'm just going off on some random shit. So, Closer. I really like this song. I really enjoyed making this song. How long did it take me to make? I think I made it in a day. I think. Yeah. It's been a very long time since I last opened it, so I may not remember everything that I did and I would have to recheck, but I don't know, we'll see. Once again, I don't have that many patterns. I think I have like 30 tracks or so, yeah, 33, and not that many patterns. I think what carries the song the most is these reverses that I played around with a lot, and I also did a lot of vocal work on this song, a lot of chopping and re-recording and vocal chops, and it was just everything. I did a lot of stuff on this song. Main instruments for Closer were the piano and three different types of guitars. The two different types were in the verses and the third guitar was in the drop. So yeah. Oh, and some strings. That's literally it. That's all I used for Closer, to be honest. In terms of instruments, the rest was saws and percussions and drums and vocal chops. I used a lot of vocal chops. So yeah, let's get into it first of all. So in the intro, like I said, what carries it a lot are these reverses. So I think every like these these ones here are louder, and then I basically duplicated it and made these ones quieter, and they pan from left to right. Just so that it adds a bit of a nice effect. So yeah, that's what's basically mainly carrying the intro, just a sort of like a pad / background noise. I also have these samples here, which were one shots, which I then I pitched them up, and then I also changed the notes of them. So I played around with the pitch until they hit the right notes that would fit the melody. So the first one, the second one, and the third one. So that's what's in regards to the reverses. Then I also have some piano, which, as everyone knows, I always use emotional piano, for which is a contact library. I talk about contact a lot in my last video. Yeah, it's a great plugin, at least I think it is. And I also use the Muddy 78 setting, which I think sounds really nice. It gives it a bit of a, like it's coming off of one of those can't remember the name, but yeah. So that's the piano. I then have the guitar, which is just the I think it's just the Contact Factory Library guitar. It wasn't anything special. Yeah, so Contact Factory Library nylon guitar, which is just like a, and I had very basic pattern, not pattern, melody. So yeah. Regards to the settings of that, I used a lot of reverb and delay and some stereo shaper, and I panned it to the left, I think, in the stereo shaper, because I wanted to have the second guitar, which I use, panned to the right. So in regards to that, I have some fire effects as well, but in regards to the second guitar that I use, that is a free plugin on, or free contact library. It's called pettenhouse.com acoustic guitar 2. I think it sounds really, really nice as an acoustic guitar. Considering it's free, I really, really love it. I've used it in quite a few songs. Most of them which haven't been released yet, because there's always some reason why I don't like it. But yeah, this library I think sounds really, really cool. So yeah. I just think it sounds so nice. Like, it sounds really real. The plugin itself also has some really cool strum patterns that can be used, but I just drew in my own little strum because I didn't really, I don't know, they didn't fit for this song. And then I also have some strings, which is usually just my usual orchestral essential strings. I didn't even send it to a track, Jesus. So yeah, orchestral essentials, not 1, not 2. Setting of number 1, strings arco. I use strings in a lot of my songs. They're really, really important. To get a more natural, realistic feel of strings, it's best to use the mod wheel, so that you can really control it. But I couldn't be bothered for this song, so I didn't. But it still sounds okay, in my opinion. So yeah. So as you can see, the velocity of the last chord is really, really high, because I want it to be quite a powerful hit on the last note. So yeah, those are the main instruments that I have for the intro, and all together with the vocals as well. That is how the intro sounds.
Change your mind, bring you in close to me.
In terms of the percussion, so the kick starts here. I think I just had a plug-in stock kick for this. I think, yeah, FPC3 kick. I have some 808 kicks reversed just to give it a bit of an impact when the kick actually starts. And then I just have a very basic snare, which I added a lot of reverb and delay to. So yeah. And then as the build-up begins to happen, I got a bit crazy with the percussions. I got a bit experimental and I wanted to add like lots of different percussions. There was a song that inspired some of the percussions, a song by Avicii. Not that I could get my percussion to sound anywhere near like it, but I mean, yeah, I think it turned out okay. So in terms of the percussion, I used a Contact drum lab just for snares. No. Then I have some cashmere stomps, which I added a lot of reverb on, plus the FP3C kick. Some shakers, the snares, and some claps. So yep. And then the vocal chops, so basically how I did this was I cut up her voice, arranged them in certain I arranged them in how I wanted it to sound. I then recorded it with Edison, put it into New Tone to arrange the melody that I wanted the chops to go to. I then put that into fuck, what did I do? I did an automation of the pitch, because you can hear in some bits it goes like yeah, so I used D Blue tape stop, which gives it the pitch variations. I then recorded all of that again and then dragged that into the playlist so that I didn't have so much going on in the playlist. I then have some chops pitched down. So this is just the normal one, but then I also have these ones which are like pitched down. Just to add a little bit more atmosphere. I have the same reverses that I had before. I have this piano and the guitar, and I have the strings. Then I have a long sweep up just before it quietens down for the drop. So all together. So just before the drop, I just have a crash, have the same reverses, and then I bring the vocal in again. And then it gets to the drop. So, the drop. The drop is fairly simple. It's nothing too crazy. In terms of the drum pattern, I used, I don't know how to say this kick name. Like, how do you say this? Lasse Gutkier kick. I didn't do much in terms of EQing for that. Okay. So that's what I did. And then I have the same snare clap thing, and I also have another clap, and then I have these Congo thingies. Which I think actually made a pretty cool pattern. I liked it anyway. My third guitar as well. So my third guitar is a guitar preset that I use quite a bit. It's from Nexus. I used it in a drift as well. The quadro guitar thing. And yeah, I really like how the notes sound when they slide from one to the other, which I really like it. So I know this says silence, but that's because I originally tried to make my own guitar sound in silence, and it sounded okay, but it didn't sound as good, and I just didn't rename it again. So EQing, just got rid of the low end and boosted the mids and highs, did some OTT, and I did some stereo shaper just to make it a tiny bit wider in the mix, and then obviously I did side chain to the kick as well. My lead. Okay, so this is where everything is. So in regards to the lead, so I have my sub bass, I have another bass, I have a choir from Contact. It is just from the Contact factory library, and yeah, that's just to give it the dramatic feel a little bit. And then I have some wide saws which I made myself a long time ago, but then because I'm just too lazy to, you know, make saws every single time, I saved it as a preset. Or was it this one, or was it another one that I made? Could have been another one, I can't remember. And then I also have so I have two different types of saws. I think this one is more for the low end. My choir, I have bass lead, and I have the sub bass, and then I just have some white noise. And then obviously everything is side chained to the kick in regards to that as well. And then I have the vocal chops again, which I made as sort of like a second melody in new tone. So it was the same as what I did the first time round, but I think I reversed it and then arranged and just cut it to arrange the melody that I wanted it to have. So yeah, that is the drop. And altogether it sounds as so. I really hope my CPU can handle this. Oh, anyway, altogether. Bring you in closer. So that is the drop. For the second half of the drop, I just added some hi-hats, which I made in a previous song, and I just recorded it and saved it so that as a sample, so that I don't have to do it all the time, which is why they're called Shan hats. Very cute. So yeah, with the hats. second verse, it's just the guitar, the piano, and the same reverses again. So yeah, the same vocal reverses. I was very limited on vocal samples that I could use for this, so I had to do a lot of work myself to try and make it so that it wasn't so boring and not so repetitive. So for the second verse, what is that sound? Never mind. For the second verse, I had the one vocal sample, and I didn't mind that repeating, but I wanted the last bit of the melody to change. So I was like, okay, she can repeat that, but we can change it up a little bit. So what I did in regards to this, I dropped this vocal sample into new tone, and I changed the last few notes so that what she's singing sounds a little bit different. So as you can hear, the last few notes of where she says lied, I changed the melody of it, and then I also pitched it down to hide any, you know, rough edges so that it didn't sound so badly edited. So yeah, that is how I made the second phrasing sound different. Add some bass, and then yeah, just the same percussion. For the second build, I added some strings, because I don't think I added them in the first build. No, I didn't. So for the second build up, I added some strings, and the melody changes a little bit as well in regards to that. So it goes up a bit. Just to add some extra harmonies. And then we get to the second drop. So the first half of the second drop is exactly the same. In the second half though, I add something evidently. What is this? Oh, okay. In the second half of the drop, they must have been there before. Yeah, they were. I added some rides. Got my SHANNI hats again. I added some strings for the top melody, and then I added this little really lame drum fill, to be honest. So yeah, this will be the second half of the drop, and then in the last section of the drop, I added some more strings and harmonized these strings that I had, so that you get that crescendo. And then it just goes off to the end of the song, where it's just the first chord basically stretched out until the end. So yeah, final drop. As you can hear, my CPU is absolutely destroying Yeah. But in good news, I'm actually getting a new computer, so I won't have those annoying CPU issues. I should really just bounce everything to audio so that it doesn't stutter like that. But anyway, that is the last drop, and then we just have the final. And that is closer. So in regards to the mixer, because I realized I didn't go through that too much, I have for the drop at least, I have all of my saws put into separate mixer tracks, and then they're all routed to the lead bus, which I then have additional settings on, including a sausage fattener, a little bit of chorus, etc, etc. I don't have that many settings on the saws, to be honest, because I didn't really have, I think the most prominent thing in regards to the drop lead was the choir. So the choir was what was really leading it, because the saws aren't even really that loud, and they weren't really that strong. And then the rest of it, to be honest, is just the vocals. Like I said before, the real instruments I don't do that much in terms of effects on, mostly reverb and delay and some stereo shaping and some EQing, because I think they sound really real and natural. I don't want to get rid of that feeling. In regards to the master, I have some, that's just from the recordings. I have a little bit of satin, and yeah, that's all my new tone work. So yeah, proof that I am still very much new to producing in general, because there isn't a lot that I do in my music, but I'm getting there. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Probably didn't learn much. I don't really give that much info in regards to my projects, but yeah, thank you for watching either way, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.